Truckers avoid this Alberta highway. Diner after midnight. True encounters. What would you do if somewhere along a silent Alberta highway, after midnight, a diner that no longer exists turned its lights on just for you? And the waitress quietly said, "Don't take anything with you when you leave." Because long-haul drivers across Western Canada whisper about one place that appears only in heavy snow. And anyone who stops there never feels the same again. Welcome back to True Encounters. Tonight's true encounter comes from Isaac Delaney, a veteran Alberta long-haul driver who spent decades chasing frozen highways in northern silence, until one winter run changed the way he hears his own heartbeat. My name is Isaac Delaney. I've been hauling freight across long winter highways for almost 3 decades. Most of my runs happen overnight. Fewer headlights, long empty roads, and that deep northern silence you get used to after years behind the wheel. This happened during the winter of 2018, in the final days of December. It was around 1:20 a.m. I was driving along a lonely stretch of Highway 2, not far from Red Deer, Alberta. The fog mixed with drifting snow made the road feel unreal. Even the glow of distant headlights vanished into a pale white haze. No music, no radio chatter, just the steady rumble of my engine and the crackle of ice beneath my tires. That's when I noticed it. Through the swirling fog, an old roadside diner appeared on the right side of the highway. The faded wooden sign read, "Aurora Highway, Diner." Since 1984, a single yellow bulb flickered above the entrance, casting long shadows across the frozen parking lot. Something about the place felt unfinished, but the cold had crept into my bones, and I hadn't eaten for hours. So I slowed the truck, turned off the engine, and stepped inside. The diner felt frozen in time. A narrow counter ran along one side. Old vinyl stools, faded photographs of snowy mountains on the walls. Behind the counter stood a woman in a pale pink uniform, the kind you'd expect from an old prairie diner decades ago. Her face showed no surprise, no welcome smile. Just calm, steady eyes that seemed to look straight through me. She spoke softly. "Long haul tonight, huh? Coffee and pancakes?" Her voice had a faint static edge, like an old radio signal fading in and out. I hesitated, but hunger won. She turned toward the kitchen without another word. Moments later, I heard the scrape of a spatula and the hiss of a hot griddle. Yet the sound echoed strangely, as if it came from beneath the floorboards, rather than the room behind her. Within minutes she returned. In her hands was a chipped ceramic plate stacked with pancakes, melting butter, and a small metal cup of syrup. She placed it gently in front of me and said softly, "One condition. Leave the plate here when you go." I gave a small laugh. "Sure, no problem." She nodded slowly, as if the answer mattered more than I understood. When I cut into the pancakes, the steam didn't smell sweet. It carried the scent of burnt butter, and something cold and metallic beneath it. I took 2 bites. Immediately, my tongue felt numb. The syrup tasted wrong. Not like maple, but thin, cold, almost bitter. Then I heard it, a faint childlike giggle somewhere behind the diner walls. My ears filled with a low humming sound. A voice brushed against my thoughts. "Just breathe." The woman suddenly stood very close behind me. Her shadow stretched across the counter, but it rippled unnaturally, like smoke drifting in water. She leaned near my ear. Her breath felt colder than the winter air outside. "This diner burned over 2 decades ago," she murmured. "My son started the fire. Right on that stove." As she spoke, thin gray cracks spread along the walls like ash lines. The overhead bulb flickered violently and went dark. A heavy smell of smoke filled the air. Burnt syrup, grease, and something older. I tried to stand. My boots wouldn't move. It felt like invisible hands were gripping my ankles from below the floor. Panic surged through my chest. With every ounce of strength, I shoved the table forward. It slammed onto the floor, the plate shattering into pale fragments. At that exact moment, whatever held me loosened. I ran. Out the door, across the icy lot, back into my truck. I didn't look behind me, and yes, I left the plate there. That was her condition. By 3:30 a.m., I reached a freight depot outside Edmonton. My clothes were soaked with sweat, yet my body felt frozen from the inside out. When I told another driver, Keaton Walsh, about the diner, his face turned pale. He said, "Isaac, that place burned down in 1996. Owner and her son both died in the fire. Truckers talk about it all the time. They say a woman still serves pancakes there at night. Anyone who takes the plate with them doesn't make it till sunrise." A heavy unease spread through me because I had left it behind. 8 years have passed since that night. I don't drive Highway 2 anymore. But sometimes, when I turn on my kitchen stove at home, a faint smell of burnt syrup drifts through the air, even when nothing is cooking. Occasionally, pale flower handprints appear on my cabinets and vanish by morning. The burner flame sometimes turns a weak, icy blue, as if the heat itself is fading. Doctors say I'm healthy. Every test comes back normal. Yet my heartbeat pauses for a second every few beats, like something is listening between the silence. And deep down, I know that since that meal, my breath has never felt entirely my own. Because unfinished souls sometimes finish their story through someone else's final bite. This was Isaac Delaney's true mysterious experience. Sometimes what feels like kindness on a cold night hides something unfinished. Not every invitation is safe. And not every stop on a lonely highway is meant for the living. Comment below and tell me honestly, if you were driving alone on that frozen Alberta highway at midnight, what would you do? Would you step inside the diner for warmth, or keep driving and never look back? If this true encounter stayed with you, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to True Encounters. We'll meet again soon with another real and chilling true encounter. Only on True Encounter.